So now I'm going to move into our first talk, which is from Stuart Cameron. He's a team leader at GNS, and he's going to talk about his project. So let me just move through. Over to you, Stuart.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so this project is the Cyclone Gabrielle groundwater contamination response, and with a particular emphasis on drinking water. The partner organisations that are involved are Hawke's Bay Regional Council, which have been significant input at logistical level and local knowledge, ESR that have helped with site selection and sample parameters, Hastings District and Napier City Council, inputting their municipal water supply wells and helping with sampling, and also Te Whatu Ora bringing in a public health lens to the work. This picture here is an example. It's the same well, before and after. So, massive destruction, around, well sites, drinking water, irrigation, municipal wells. And I think the thing to note here is, the well's completely exposed. So the risk here is that the floodwater or groundwater is recharged by water infiltrating into the ground, either through land surface or via rivers and streams. So the risk to groundwater security is that contaminated water entered the groundwater system either via those mechanisms or through those wells that are exposed to to the surface now. And the picture here on the right, on the left, is the areas of interest that the regional council identified. That the Eskdale in the top left, Otani below it, and then an area of the Heritonga Plains around Napier. So the reason why they were keen on these ones were they were flooded, and there's drinking water wells in there. So there's about 2,000 wells in this area, and we had to come up with a criteria to select wells that we were going to sample. That involved things like well depth, whether there was a pump installed, and whether we could get hold of the owner, and there was a phone number associated with it. So out of that 2,000 wells, we selected about 250 wells that we wanted to target. Then we started ringing. That was about 7 days of ringing, about 5 people ringing to try and get hold of these well owners. And out of that, we came up with about 125 wells, which is on the right-hand side here, that we had list to sample. So the way the sampling worked is that we had 2 sampling rounds. One was a screening round that was relatively inexpensive and quick, that we could identify anomalies, and then we would go back and sample for more targeted parameters. So 125 wells were sampled for E. coli, electrical conductivity, turbidity, temperature, and what else was there? And pH. Okay, so the results of that first sampling round, if you just hit the forward button, some little red pens should come up showing where there were anomalies. Yeah, so I think there was 22 wells showed an anomaly in those 5 parameters. Fortunately, only 2 wells showed positive E. coli samples, one at about 190 and the other somewhere around 25. So those 25 wells were identified for resampling. Okay. So there's the 25 wells, all right. After recontacting the well owners, that number of wells was reduced to about 15. Some people, interestingly enough, didn't want their wells resampling. They saw it as a liability. But so the next round of sampling is happening now as we speak, this week. And so this suite of parameters is for major anions and cations, volatile organics, which is hydrocarbons, a pesticide suite, and again the field parameters. So we'll finish that sampling this week. So the next step, as I said, is the analysis of the round 2 sampling. We have to communicate the results to the well owners. We have to report on results, and recommendations, and undertake an assessment from a public wellbeing framework.